right, guys and girls, well, tomorrow we're gonna have to diagnose an oil leak completely on the Civic. This is in 4th gear and we're just doing 45. If I floor it, it is slipping. So the clutch is starting to slip, and I know it's because of an oil leak because I smell oil. So tomorrow we're gonna pick back up with an oil leak, and I think I already have it figured out what it is, but definitely not fun. And you can tell it's an oil leak too, because look, it'll slip and then it'll finally catch once it burns the oil off. So we're gonna get it resolved. Let's see you, well, I'll see you guys in the morning. All right, well, that escalated really quickly, but the engine's out, and yeah, I don't know where we're going with this. Stay tuned. All right, well, our oil, dang nabbit, I really should disconnect that chime, or I guess I could do the right thing and put my seatbelt on. But as you can tell, it is floored. We have no more clutch slippage here. That's obviously 4th gear and it is super slow, but I am so thankful that we took care of this thing. All right, guys and girls, well, we are back for another video here. A bunch of people said that they wanted to see a video on the Civic here. I just tossed him a banana to see if he would eat it. I just ate one. It was actually delicious, but I don't think Diesel enjoys it. But anyway, back to this. Oh, and number 2, like, holy cow, look how big the limo is. Literally can open the hatch underneath the Civic. This thing's a monster. Wait till you guys actually see that thing in person too. But anyway, back to the story here, or back to the video. So if you guys don't know, this is a 2005 Honda Civic. I did purchase it so that I can drive back and forth to the shop and get good fuel mileage. This thing's actually been getting, if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me now, Senate_Steve. This thing's been averaging like 38 to almost 40 miles to the gallon, and I'm loving it. I went from spending $80 every other day in the Yukon to now I spend like $37.50 to $40 to fill this up, and it actually lasts 3 days. So I can get like 440 miles out of a full tank of gas in this thing, versus the Yukon, I was getting like 240 to a 20-gallon tank, and this is only a 12-gallon tank. So this thing has changed my outlook on how things are going, but we got to fix some things. So lately, since I've been driving it so much, I have 3,000 miles on it now in 3 weeks. Definitely not a banana type dog, but since I've been driving it so much, the oil leak is actually getting too far out of control, and I'm gonna have to rectify it today. So there's actually one little thing that I think it is, and we're gonna try, which is a little valve cover cap. It's on the end of the cam. I don't know, I think they call it a valve cover end plug here, but it's actually like a cam cap in my mind and from my experience. So I'm gonna pull this off. I got a valve cover gasket for it. We're gonna do a quick little oil change to it, and I'll show you guys the massive oil leak. We'll get it all cleaned up. I'm gonna drive it for 2 or 3 days, and then I'll jump back in here to see if the clutch is still slipping and see if we have to put a clutch. So that's where this video is gonna lead. I might toss in some Jeep content, I might not. You'll know here in a couple minutes. But without further ado, let me get the hood popped here, and we're gonna start tearing into the Civic. Coming over here, you can actually see this thing. You can see how much oil is actually down all over this thing. The cam cap is actually going to be right down here under the EGR valve, or next to the EGR valve. So I'm gonna go ahead and, again, I'm gonna do a valve cover gasket while we're here, and that should take care of my oil leak. And again, I think that's the reason why the clutch is starting to slip, because if you actually look down here, the master cylinder's right there. I think there's an opening, and I think it's just getting oil inside there causing our slip. So I'm gonna brake clean all this down. We're gonna also do an oil change of this thing, and it should resolve our issue. So without further ado, I'm gonna pull the coil caps out, or coil packs out, pull the wiring and everything up, pull the valve cover out. Probably have to move the air box, move the AC, move the power steering, but we'll go ahead and keep knocking this out and get this thing done. I do like helping people, and mainly when I do videos like this, it is to educate. Now, am I the best mechanic? No. Am I good? I'm okay. But I just want to educate people on how they can do stuff like this themselves. So step number 1 is to find ramps or get a jack, get this thing up in the air. Step 2, since you know you have an oil leak, you're going to go ahead and clean the area to the best that you can. Am I saying go out here and buy, you know, $100 worth of brake clean and clean it off? No, but clean it as best as you can, because the more you know and the cleaner it is, the easier it is going to be to find the location that it's leaking from. Now, I think I have this one already pinpointed and figured out, because once I started pressure washing, or once I started cleaning, you can pretty much see here that somebody has RTV stuffed in the gasket here. Over here, you can really see that somebody has a boatload of RTV tossed in here. And I sort of knew that going into this project, but I just wanted you guys to know that step one, clean it. So let's go ahead and get it cleaned. I mean, it's already clean, but here it is getting cleaned. All right, step two, there's a valley cover here. Your car might have it, might not, but it's just 2 tabs. Pop it off, and then you go ahead, and I took it off all the coil packs, and then I'll disconnect them and get them out of the way because I know this valve cover is going to be coming off. So long story short is disconnect your coil packs, get them out of the way because you need them out of the way to remove the valve cover. And I also, I'm not sure, oh yeah, look at all that grimy junky stuff. That's the other reason why you clean it beforehand, so that when you pull the coil out, that stuff doesn't fall down into your valley there, or down into your spark plug boot, or hole, whatever you want to call it. So that's why I kind of clean it before I get into it. Look at all that grime and dirt. Plus you've seen a bunch of grime come out of this thing. So disconnecting them, number one, cleaning number one, and then disconnecting number two. Again, push that out. Don't let that fall into that valley. Otherwise, you're going to have a little bit more of a mess than you really want to have. All right, so I wanted to go ahead and say, I believe I know what the 2 issues are with this thing. Number one being the valve cover gasket. Somebody probably had this off at some point to do a timing belt, and they just never went ahead and put the right gasket in, or they put RTV in. Number 2 is there's a valve cover end plug, which I call a cam cap. I'm not sure what you would want to call it or what the dealer calls it, but there's a cam cap right here on the end of the valley here, or valve cover, and I'm pretty sure that that is actually what's leaking down in, causing my clutch to slip. So without further ado, I'm going to keep plugging and chugging here and get this valve cover off. All right, well, as you can tell there, the top of the cam cap is absolutely soaked, or I mean dry, and then the bottom is absolutely soaked. You can see it there. Look how it's dry up top, wet on the bottom. So I'm pretty sure that this is going to be our problem. And again, you can get this part anywhere, Advance or the dealer. Fingers crossed that this takes care of it. And again, we just got to clean up all this stuff here and it should actually take care of my clutch slipping. So the RTV thing too, that you see me clean up a bunch of RTV, you don't really need that much RTV, especially if you're putting a new gasket on. I'm assuming whoever did this the last time, or whoever tore it apart probably to do a timing belt and then just didn't put a valve cover gasket on it and just RTV'd it. So let's keep plugging and chugging here and get this thing back together, and fingers crossed we don't have a slipping clutch any longer. All right, well, as you can tell, new valve cover gasket and the new plug that was in there. This thing seems to be running and driving really, really well. I'm gonna drive it for a couple days before I post this video and make sure that we got all our leaks taken care of. So I will pick back up probably in about 1,000 miles, which is probably just 5 days for me. So see you very soon. All right, well, our oil, dang nabbit, I really should disconnect that chime. Or I guess I could do the right thing and put my seatbelt on. But as you can tell, it is floored. We have no more clutch slippage here. That's obviously 4th gear and it is super slow. But I am so thankful that we took care of this thing. I don't smell oil anymore. It doesn't smoke when I stop. And I'll pop the hood over here in a little bit and actually check underneath the hood to see how we're looking under there. But I think we finally got this thing resolved, and I finally have a good daily driver with almost 300,000 miles on it. All right, so this color doesn't do justice in this building, but tomorrow I'm gonna wrap the hood and fenders. It's already getting pretty late. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm gonna go ahead and head out for the night. Again, I had to readjust the rear bumper because I couldn't actually get to the bolts, as you see me struggle a little bit there. But front bumper is on, and we are gonna have to run that lower valence because there is a trim piece here that, or like a lower radiator support, that we want to hide. So we are going to run the lower piece. So scratch that, don't drop it down below because it's going to be on now.